Hello, Yang Gang. This is Glenn McNeil here, aka Zen Glenn, the tech guy who gets marketing, and I've got something really interesting to share with you today. It's also something that may elicit a pretty visceral response with you, so if you can put your feelings aside and your ethical and moral judgments aside and look at this on the basis of the principles at play, there's actually some really valuable lessons that can be gleaned from what I'm about to show you. So let's just jump into it right now. As you can see, I'm in one of my Gmail accounts. I've selected for emails from Daily Cause. Going through cleaning house, I came across a couple of emails that caught my attention. The petition for the Honest Ads Act. Keep that in mind because this one here is the one that stopped me dead in my tracks. The from name is from Mayor Pete Buttigieg via Daily Cause. So you may be wondering, wait a second, does that mean that Daily Cause is endorsing Pete Buttigieg? Well, not exactly. If you look down at here at the bottom of the email, it says paid for by Pete for America does not equal endorsement. So what is this? It's an advertisement, but it's an advertisement that doesn't look like an advertisement. In fact, in every way that that matters in terms of how people are interacting with it, it actually feels like a cause, a petition that they would care about. Let's just get into. Before I get into the email itself, let me just give the credit to the team at to Mayor Pete's marketing gurus, because they know a little bit about something called integration marketing, which is a term that was coined by Mark Joyner in this landmark book. If you're interested in marketing at all, this is a good book to get. It doesn't, the principles at work, like I said, can be used for the power of good. The second thing is that the mechanism that they're using or modeling here is based on what we call a solo mailing or solo ads. And just a really quick overview of that and how they work. It's important to understand this because if you look at it through, like I said, through the eyes of a marketer, it all starts to make sense. Like how this relationship between Pete Buttigieg's campaign and Daily Cause may have come together. It's like a brand integration. But anyway, so as an advertiser, what you can do with solo ads is you can find a seller of traffic, basically people usually people who have a mailing list who will basically rent it out to you for a single email or as many as that you want to buy, right? And you pay for it. Well, first of all, you can choose a variety of targeting mechanisms to make sure that your message is getting in front of people who are going to be interested in what you're selling. So what we see in the world of solo ads a lot of the time is people and they make money online. Affiliate marketing, internet marketing as a business opportunity, multi-level marketing, and all that kind of stuff are kind of the usual suspects for this kind of thing. And as an advertiser, you would pay generally by the number of clicks that you get, and the rates are really, really cheap. Like I'm talking about like 34 cents per visitor, to your website. So it's a very cheap and very easy to track way of advertising, which makes it appealing. And so just keep that in mind as we go through this. Now, what I want to do is get into the psychological principles at work at every step of the way here. So first of all, starting with the subject line, the very first word is a call out to you, right? To me in this case. So it says, Glenn, racism is rooted deep in our criminal justice system. Add your name for reform! Exclamation point. So just the first thing is personalization in emails is a pretty good tactic to give a little bump in open rates. Because why? Because we're wired up to respond to our own name. So if you've ever been in like a big convention hall or anything like that and heard somebody say your name while in the midst of a bunch of people talking, you probably immediately turn your head. Oh, somebody called my name, because we're wired up that way. It's called our reticular activation system. Same thing happens if you buy a car and next thing you know, you're starting to see the same car on the roads everywhere, right? That's your reticular activation system. The cars were always there. You just didn't know them until you bought your new car. Okay, so uh, so that's one of the psychological principles at work here. The other thing is that it's directly calling out the audience that Pete's campaign most needs to reach. People who are worried about racism, criminal justice system, and rallying around that cause. If you look at the email copy, I'm not going to go through all of the email copy, but it's directly calling out the people that he wants to reach with this. So. The next thing is that something that they did that was clever. Rather than starting with Glenn, it's a long time past or whatever, blah 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 blah, and all the copy, they put a call to action first in the email. This is a strategy that's often used to increase click-through rates when you have a really when you know your audience very well and what they're going to respond to. These people at Daily Cause are receiving petition emails every day, and they feel really good about themselves when they sign a petition because they feel like they've contributed to a worthy cause. So this audience has been indoctrinated to just be like, oh yes, I want to click on this, I want to click on this, I want to click on this. Right? So and on top of that, there's the copy here is really good. Take a stand. Stand with Pete Buttigieg, candidate for U.S. president, and sign on to support common sense criminal justice reform that will cut our incarcerated population by 50%. Now, who in the Daily Cause audience, with their with their bias and so forth, and their demographics, who doesn't want that? and if you're in this audience, right? So that's that. I don't want to spend much time on the email because there's so much more to talk about. So let's click on this. I don't want to open this in my current browser. I'm going to open it in a private browser here. Just as a side note, that link, that got tracked as a click. So the open. So as an email marketer, I know that you can track your open rates, your click-through rates. Every step of the process here is being tracked. It's accountable. So the amount of money that Pete's campaign spent on this, every cent of it can be tracked all the way through to the final action. Okay, so a couple things that are worth pointing out here. It's just reiterating the same call to action that they clicked on, so that there's that a consistency of the messaging. All of this copy is basically the same as what was in the email, so there's nothing for them to think about except for doing the thing that Daily Cause wants them to do, which is to sign this petition. And if you're logged in as a Daily Cause user, you don't even have to sign in again. You would just click the button to add your name. They've removed as much friction from the process to make it as smooth a path towards the next action that they want to take. Now, one other thing that's really worth pointing out here, and I don't know why they left it this way, but it says sponsored by Daily Cause, which seems like either an oversight on their part or I don't know what it is, because this is clearly an ad that was paid for by Pete for America. If they wanted to be completely transparent, I think that they should have changed it from sponsored by Daily Cause to sponsored by Pete for America. But they were probably just using their standard, petition signing template and just left this in and just shipped it out the door. So give them the benefit of the doubt on that. All right, so I'm going to put in some information here. Glenn at mailinator.com. Yep, and I just want to see what happens next. Okay, thanks for signing. So if you've ever signed up, done a petition before, you know what's going to happen next. Yes, right there. There's going to be a call to action to donate. Now, just let's look at how they framed it. Thank you for standing with Mayor Pete Buttigieg and Daily Cause. Please consider funding this important work. It doesn't say where the donations are going. It says, please consider funding this important work. Okay, so that's just a clever way of framing it so that there's less resistance to taking the next action and clicking on one of these buttons to donate. So let's go to that page. Now, this is a really interesting thing too. So this is you've probably seen one of these before, a split payment donation, so that you could donate to two causes at the same time. Um, and what's it? We're going to come back to this because there's something important that I want to attend to there. But just notice the copy on the side here. What's happening? All of this copy is designed to support and make people feel good about donating. So they're selling people on Pete Buttigieg and his story and his experience, his credibility, and all that stuff. So uh, that's what that copy exists for, and they've added, they've reminded Daily Cause readers why they like Daily Cause, right? Because they stand for progressive political, they take a progressive political stance, and there's a kind of proof element or credibility. We're the largest. There's 1 million community members in our platform, and so forth. All of this is kind of like social proof to make people feel good about and feel confident that they're about taking the next action and donating. So there we go. Now, as you know, if you've ever donated to any cause or campaign, what also comes along with that? It puts you on their email list. Now, if the Buttigieg campaign is really smart, what they will do is put people who donate through this Act Blue link, right, through this campaign. They'll put them into an onboarding sequence or an indoctrination sequence to kind of welcome them into the world of Mayor Pete, and use, for lack of a better word, use like cult type tactics, to welcome them with open arms, and everybody else who isn't with you and joining us, needs to be expelled from your life. If your family disagrees with you, I don't know, whatever. But just have they, welcome them into their world, into the world of Pete, and spend the first few emails not trying to sell them on donating more, but sell them on Pete being a good decision. And if they really wanted to take it to the next level, they would continue the conversation that they started with this racism and the corrupt criminal justice system, and make that the very first email. So thank you for donating and contributing to this cause of reforming the criminal justice system and the systemic racism, blah 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 blah, and reminding them, and and then leading them through a path that makes them like Buttigieg more and more and more. Over the course of 3 to 7 emails before dumping them into the general bucket list with everybody else, where it's just like, please donate, we need more, we need to hit this fundraising goal, donate. So if they're really smart, that's the strategy that they would take, is really segmenting and speaking the language of the audience that they've just gotten to on their donators list. Okay, so with that said, I think I've covered most of the things that I wanted to cover. Let me just come back here and check and see if there's anything else. That's it. I want to stop this video, and I'm pretty sure you want me to stop this video too. I'm going to leave all of the political commentary and punditry to the pundits, and it's up to you to make your own, arrive at your own conclusions about the ethics and morality and all of that associated with this. But like I said, there's lessons to be learned here that can be used for the force of good. Doing a brand integration type of a campaign with some, maybe like the Union of Concerned Scientists or something like that, for the Andrew Yang campaign could be a good choice for us to do. And this and the psychological principles used, the the psychological influence. I told you I wasn't going to be very articulate. The principles of persuasion used in this, where they're getting people to take one micro commitment after another, after another, after another, which leads them to doing something that they probably wouldn't have done if they just came right out and said, please donate to Pete's campaign, right? So they took them through a series of yeses, small micro commitments. It's called the principle of commitment and consistency. This is from Robert Cialdini's book called Influence. Did years of research and lots of studies to figure out, I think, 6 or 7 main principles of, I like to use this word principles way too much, but 7 principles of persuasion and influence that are pretty hard for people to be aware of, where they work outside of our conscious awareness. So I know that was a lot of information, and I can be really detail oriented and really inarticulate when I have gotten too little sleep. So I hope this video turns out okay. I don't want to spend a lot of time editing it. Thank you for watching it. I certainly enjoyed making it for you, and I hope it was useful to you. And I'll see you again next time. If you think that I should continue making videos like this under better circumstances, mind you, when I've gotten some sleep, let me know, and I will continue to do so. Until then, I'll see you next time.